Hey there, welcome to Carcassonne. It's today with Sportr versus texe1. So far, both with 3-1 match wins, although with very different tiebreakers. 7-3 for Sportr. So Sportr here should be safe because the worst that could happen is a 2-0 in texe1's favor. And even then, Sportr would still be sitting in 11th place, one spot ahead of Krishna. And if I'm not wrong, and I'm not only with or phosphate, either or, to be precise, because they will play later today against each other, could leapfrog Sportr. Hey, Krish. For texe1, on the other hand, any loss, even a close one, and he'd drop to 12th place below Krishna with a tiebreaker that will get no help anymore. Even a win by phosphate would only marginally improve this, and not enough, and all other opponents of texe1 are already done. So the Spaniard needs to win, as else he will be replaced in 12th place or relegated to 13th place by either with or phosphate. Even in the best case for texe1, a close win for phosphate that would see phosphate leapfrogging both Krishna and texe1. So the Spaniard has to win. There is just no other way possible. There's no one at the top that could still drop by losing 0-2 or something. So rating evolution rather, Sportr's, I think he became master back then, so that's almost, 6 years ago. Usually rated around 600, 550 should be the baseline over recent years. So I don't think this has any implication on today. texe1 at 15k games played needs a refresh, or rather, his rating evolution page needs a refresh to even display that one, and we'll see whether this works or not. Let's check, have they already started? They haven't, although it's a minute past. To answer Chris' question, if texe1 loses, texe1 is done and dusted, and Krish, that's Krishna, would secure a playoff ticket. Okay, rating evolution still loads. Let's do it again, and here we go. Yeah, at least a nice upward trajectory, but not yet a master, and well, it's a rather subdued ascent here over all these years, but at least the trend is positive. So might very well become a master this year. So here we go, Sportr with the blue meeples, texe1, as is all usually the case, being the home side, playing yellow. Both with default moves so far. And quite likely the first interesting decision will hit, and this here is one, of course, you draw. At this extender, left or right of your road, bottom would be annoying due to daggers. Stuff over here or there could implicate road and city at the same time, so you'd rather refrain from shenanigans like that. Yeah, road end to the left is okay, but I'd rather point it upwards just in case once the road is closed, I'd get more monasteries to stack them a tad better there. And also force a tiny micro headache for yellow, maybe. Hey, Juan. So slight pressure on Sportr City at the bottom might increase if yellow gets anything to continue with the city build up there. Would increase pretty severely with a straight or any curvy, any roadish piece there to then attack both these squares and threaten severe complications, which this does very nicely and with tempo. Okay, in this case, the situation on the left side for blue's monasteries worked like a charm. Yellow went for the obstruction. Blue was able to defend with basically the ideal piece, a monastery. Got a road to take care of this iffy square here, also give them a chance to harass yellow city up top, and to cap this development, they even got a curve there. The only thing I am not convinced was ideal is actually the curve. I mean, there are still 5 out there, so why not secure this road on the left side and wait for the next one? Well, the overall meeple situation is why not. So blue is a bit hesitant having 3 meeples relying on a curve, so they'd rather have this one here being restricted than having to wait for a curve for a long time, and any restriction over here for one isn't really that likely, as there's also a yellow road up top, and on the other hand is not really that severe. There are still at least 3 tiles to go here, and that would be the daggers, and even the road from the top would leave 4 crossroads to close this. So it's not a huge sacrifice going here first, and it pays off as this monastery is closed. Meanwhile, yellow tries to build up their city up top. Let's see. The cow was dropped there by blue, so if they don't get anything to attack yellow city before yellow gets a Dorito, that cow move might backfire. Let's see. Hey, Xangyu. Why? Okay. So blue saved the monastery, still 3 daggers left. This ain't ideal. One splitter is already gone, and a cow here, and your city, for all intents and purposes, would be restricted to the same dagger you already need for the monastery. So a rather risky city meeple there, plus these attacks here. So sometimes it's just better to leave a cap empty. Sure, go for the points, but this restriction to the one and only dagger plus the threat for this city Might have done way more for your winning chances than these few points here. And especially when you're already down, I'm not sure taking that likely will work wonders for yellow here. So the city here, at least blue's part, is dead, as the starting tile which blue used to close their harassed city on the left was the last one. And therefore, yellow quite likely will wait to get the splitter there. And if the splitter is gone, only then will they connect, or should they connect. Yep, nice farm up by blue. Yeah, nice cow by yellow, basically taking away almost all chances of blue city being completed here. They need the splitter, else this quite likely will become a ruin. The build-up is just too cumbersome, and the dagger, which is needed over here, would be used for the monastery. Yeah, blue trying to take away the splitter on the right side works out nicely. But they, of course, have a better spot, taking 5 points and the meeple back. Yellow takes a monastery, yeah, with the option to later take this field. And there's the splitter because blue didn't go here. Yellow will get their meeple back. And should get it back. I don't see why not. Maybe they have to recount starting tiles. Maybe they considered dropping a farmer, but I don't know. Even if blue were to drop a farmer immediately on a 6-point field, they'd be down to 1 meeple, and that would be a totally fine situation for yellow. There'd be still options to attack the field, so really no issue there. And blue takes the field. There are ninja options here if necessary later. And now yellow attacks from the top, hoping to connect with tempo, helping the monastery in the process. The square is dead, and therefore this whole city is dead. And yellow, of course, could kill this square with any city piece from the top as well, which definitely should be their intention. Okay, loop road here. Later, I would love this attack if the field grows, and if not, a road meeple on this 8-point or possible 8-point road. So blue at least takes away some options here. Now there's only the one remaining dagger to kill this square. But as this is the penultimate horse, any curvies or regular crossroads would restrict the connection to one piece only. why not go here as well? Try to build up a city there. Connect with vanilla. Problem being you might need the vanilla here as well. And yeah, this is a more direct approach, but it might only gain you these 3 points in the end. At minus 15. Why? I mean, only 2 pieces left to connect there. No, 3 actually. There are 2 cows out there. That's risky stuff. Monastery is dead now. This square is dead. Yellow's farmer won't connect. Best news, still 6 points and quite unlikely to be expanded. The only options are over here and there. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I saw a cow here and not an extender, so the square isn't dead. I thought there would be field Doritos or splitters to fill it, but there are vanillas sitting there. Yeah, sorry, blunder on my part, and then totally understandable for yellow, and this here definitely the way better move than doing anything else. Yeah, sorry, folks. Yeah, definitely a good threat. Whoever is working at the hotel restaurant in Valdemoro. At least I guess that would be a business account. So Sportr tries to defend here. And now they are flipping for the Rotorito. And yellow specifically has to get the Rotorito before Sportr gets a vanilla, else the square would be dead. So at minus 20, closing this should win yellow the game. But they just don't get anything, and now it's dead. And with this dead city, it's game over. And yeah, just one move too late. Else, at least, we would have had this flip here for the win. And actually, even the restriction up top here would have worked nicely for yellow. So in some cases, just this connection alone without closing the city could have worked for them. Chris suggests yellow could have used, maybe should have used this dagger on blue city just to protect the square. And there's definitely some merit to that idea. What did they do? They scored these 4 points here, right? No, they closed their road and afterwards scored the 4 points. Yeah, then I'm with Chris here, using this dagger to protect in the city attack would be a worthwhile investment. You had the 50-50 for this Rotorito, although blue would have moved heaven and earth to try and kill this, and 2 vanillas to close on the right side. So somewhere counting 4 possible blocks, maybe somewhere around 30% to close the city, maybe 25, something like that. But that's would directly translate to win here. So it's not just, let's say, 25% to close the city, but also 25% to win the game. And when there's no other option, I think they should have done this. Let's take a look. They might need a few minutes. So 120? 120. So we are at minus 25. Adding this one here, getting the shielded Dorito and a vanilla. So minus 28, and then it's the city. For 36 points, plus the field connection, that's another 3 points. Yeah, totally. I have to concur with Chris there. They had to sacrifice the points to still have a shot. Even if the yeah, although I guess if they had closed Blue City, the route of just connecting up top and not closing the big city would have not worked points-wise, but with 2 caps to close it, the key was the connecting square. So not looking good for texe1. 2 wins or bust. This is the bottom line for them after the first one. And Sportr, I think, is now safe. With the 1 win, that should be enough. Let's check on the secondary screen. Yeah, he is at 8 game wins. At worst, could drop to 8-5, and that's definitely enough. But of course, the road for Sportr is not over yet. He'd like to secure a ticket to the round of 16, and for this, he should ideally win 2-0, because then he would leapfrog Mikhail and King Didi, and only Guru would be able to catch Sportr. So 2-0 win for Sportr, and he would guarantee, at worst, the 4th place to him. Might even catch Aki Stack. I haven't checked the secondary opponents' tiebreakers. Nice build up so far. Will yellow close their city or attack this one? I take the immediate 4 points and the meeple back. But the more aggressive approach, of course, is to go for the city. When there are still 6 triple city tiles out there, prospects are looking good. On the other hand, there's a cap here. So blue could at least try to harass the square with tempo. So yellow goes for the attack. Blue might wait. But if not, then again, I don't get this orientation. There are still 5 straights out there, and straights would restrict this one, but looks like, I don't know. I don't get it. So many city plus, yeah, okay, that's why. There are quite a lot of city plus field tiles gone. And this here gives them quite likely better chances to restrict this to the quad city. Although it might be pretty equalish, and then the straights as alternative option would swing this, at least for me, to favor the other orientation. Additionally, there are indirect defenses like this, which basically no, actually, it still works due to these Doritos here being gone. We'll see. Yeah, of course, I would prefer to use a cow here. I mean, that's another reason to go for this one. Because, I mean, a limitation with a cap is, of course, the worst one you could find. I'd rather wait than do this. Although, is waiting an option? I don't think so. Not with 6 tiles to close this city immediately. So we'll see what'll happen there. Now the question for yellow is, should they try anything up top just to restrict this square? Problem being, as of now, there are totally annoying tiles still out there. So I don't think going for a restriction really does do a lot for them. On the other hand, if they could place some city part there, at least they'd take away these road Dorito options from blue. But then blue would use it like this, quite likely, to at least restrict to the remaining horses. On the other hand, blue needs Doritos elsewhere anyway. Oh, definitely a fragile, volatile situation there. Nicola asks whether blue has to equalize there with the meeple. I mean, he has meeples to get back, so he could consider this, and it would definitely be a safe approach, especially in a situation. Just consider these cities being closed, and then a forced triple city could happen. But all this talk does not matter anymore. It's down to 2 horses for yellow after they self-restricted their city, which is totally fine if you can do it by scoring 4 points and still have a 75% shot at closing it successfully. Well, is there a thing like closing a city unsuccessfully? I don't think so. So might be redundant. Here we go. Quad city is gone. Harasses blues over there, which would have been a lovely restriction to the remaining rows. But blue gets across roads to prevent that worst case scenario. Yeah. Tricky farmer. No, really. Okay, it protects their city. Else restricting this farmer here might have been nice as well. Now blue's problem is the connection here would expand yellow's field. And that's definitely not in blue's interest. So closing the monastery, dropping a farmer first, then connecting should be more up their alley. So they're down 13, and that's why they keep this option here to be used once they get anything to go there, and pretty convinced they'd even use the rows there just to get this attack happening. But they get the dagger, and of course that works fine as well. So equal rights to all triple cities. Now they are all crucial. Nice dagger, but definitely not the right time. Blue can't defend, and yellow doesn't restrict, giving blue a second chance to do something over here. And given the abundance of field plus city tiles, they have to restrict the city to the horse. So cows are relegated to obscureness again. Now it's all about the horses. Yeah, and quite likely this field in the end. For now, there are 3 cities. 3 more might be added down the road. There are options to attack it here, over there. No road monastery left, so the only shenanigan-y option I see would be a loot ninja here. Yeah, this doesn't really improve the situation, but adds 3 points to yellow. Although with all the straights gone, this attack here is really iffy. Could be restricted to a 50-50 quite easily. So over here, definitely be the better spot. And now blue threatens to close their city there. So we'll see the restriction here to a 50-50. But blue gets to defend immediately up top. Will they claim the city? They do. Yellow equalizes immediately, of course. And with no meeple in hand, blue might even go for this one just to have 5 Doritos to get a meeple back immediately. Else they'd only have stuff over here, dagger, and the horses. So the dagger is gone, the monastery is dead. And this monastery only has a vanilla to be liberated. I'm not sure which situation you were talking about, Nicola, but we could check this out later. Just let me know which move number you had in mind. 50-50 on the church. Texas monastery here is dead, but this city is still alive. Okay, that's a worthy idea. Taking the 6-point field here, possible 9-point field, and definitely taking away blue options to attack the field from this spot. Plus 17, blue could do stuff like this here later. Yeah, the vanilla tile, so should have been this one here. Ah, he went up top instead of over here. Okay, got it. Yeah. Might have been a good idea. Well, let's check this out after this one's done. This here is blue setting up options to attack the field, or in some cases get 2 consecutive Doritos to take the city, and with a shielded Dorito they might opt for the city, hoping to maybe drop a farmer upon completion and still attack the field there. But there are now so many good tiles for yellow out there. Dagger, horse, Dorito. Yeah, the cow does not work for blue. By the way, vanilla at the bottom would score 4 points as well. Curves score 4 here, although would you really go there if you're yellow? Plus 14 is plus 14, and the field is worth 18. So with the curve, they should maybe even go for this connection just to play it safe. But 4 points are 4 points, right? So blue only has 3 moves left and can't close this one. This is it. The last call for this game for blue. And sadly, the chance gets killed immediately. And that's just too little and definitely too late. Yeah. To rub it in, yellow even gets this city. I mean, in this case, it doesn't really matter if the 6 points get taken away from them with the blue curve here. So if it were tied, they'd have to calculate whether to take the two, no, not the 2 road points, the 3 field points on the right side, or if they had to go for the 6 points and the 50-50 flip for this one. Although might not even matter, as there's a 5-point road for blue here anyway, so blue could score 5 points here or 5 points there. So taking the 6-point field should be the move for yellow in any case. So what did we say? Move AD8. Then we'll check this one out once the replay is available. So decider time it is. I know there's someone in Latvia hoping for Sportr to win. So Nicolas' suggestion is this one. Considering the move over here would in many cases result in a 50-50 there, which could then a further attacked. I think going for this one would have been fine. At least you'd have the guaranteed 50-50 shot. On the other hand, going here, and if yellow just gets a curve and whiffs, you have quite a lot of tiles to go there and get the meeple back immediately. And at this point, with only 1 meeple in hand, I would agree with blue's move here. It's tempting, but to me it looks like getting this meeple back ASAP is worth more than having better chances to close that city. Because even with the vanilla over here, it's far from being home. Yeah, I didn't take a look at the score. Sorry. Maybe we need to revisit that situation again after the game. But keep in mind, the second meeple in hand does a lot for your score. Maybe even including the tiles you'd still need to close that city. Okay, in a perfect permutation, only 2, a city cap with a road though and a Dorito. I think it just was unlikely that blue would have been able to close the city without intervention by yellow due to the configuration, especially with the road there, and only one dagger being left. So I get blue's decision, and I think it's the right one. Without an engine, it would be difficult to prove, though. Okay, so we have at least one fan of Sportr and at least one fan of texe1 in the chat. Well, I don't mind anyone winning here today. The one thing I always like is an extender, a decider. I mean, I still have 2 streams to go today, so that could end up in a train wreck if I'm continuing like that. So I always like a decider, and especially if both parties are playing on a high level. And so far here, this match is definitely better than the semi-train wrecks I've witnessed lately. Yeah. Wonky build-up. What else to do if yellow threatens to take over your most promising feature? So do you go for the jugular? You have to. What else is there to close this city? Well, the answer would be a splitter, but all splitters are gone. And even with the splitter, yellow, of course, would love to gift 3 points to the good cause of killing blue city. This one, though, not with extenders and cows still out there. There are 3 daggers here. There are 2 starting tiles, 2 roses. So effectively 7 caps to immediately close this city. Just for the love of all Carcassonne tiles. Just be patient. Wait for it. But the greediness doesn't get punished. Blue gets the saving grace from the deck with these twin caps, closes the city, takes a 10-point lead. Wouldn't call this a commanding lead, but it's still pretty nice to have. Okay, farmer waiting to happen in this area. Also a lovely monastery spot for blue, but if they get one, they'd have to decide which feature to go for. My choice would be the monastery. There are multiple options to attack possible farmer over here later. Farmer. Also taking away the back alley attacks. But, of course, it's only a 6, possible 9-point farmer as of now. You have 3 meeples in hand. 3. Use them. You are down 13 points. It's likely that blue will be able to close the city even if you restrict it. And if you were to go there, your monastery would be already at 4 points and rather easily liberated, except of course for this square. So with a monastery meeple here, you might not do stuff like that. So field expansion is out of the window. This farmer will be stuck at 6, maybe 9 points. Still 2 Doritos to go there. And currently, it's not even in Yellow's interest to close that city. Later on, they might to get the field. But for now, taking 2 points and giving 3 to blue, plus the second meeple back in hand, would definitely be not the move to go for. Yeah. Would be a shame if something happened to that little small city there, right? Monastery liberated via this crossroads. Yellow couldn't add a meeple because they used their last one on this cap. The problem being now Sportr has a great chance to score multiple roads in quick succession. The only annoying factor is he has to leave the cap out there. But rather leave the cap, close the city, and take the field, then yeah, if it works, it's great. If not, this could lose you the game due to the meeple situation. On the other hand, he still has curves, and if need be, Doritos left to get a meeple back. So yeah, I like this. I like it. Looks like Krish is Sportr's talisman today. Okay. Yeah, I like it because it's a content move. Not necessarily because I do stuff like that. It's creative. So let's applaud creativeness. Creativeness? Creativity? Boy. Both down to their last meeple. Sportr at +7. That just dumps this cap in a safe manner, but as Yellow had good uses for caps on the right side, I don't know. Could have been a tad too cautious. So will yellow connect for a 5-pointer here? They do. But the 5 points could be less than blue will score with the second meeple in hand. Here we go. So these two result in a net 2 points for yellow. And I don't like this one at all. This would allow Sportr to connect yellow's fields with 2 moves and take away 6 points. Here we go. Sportr's setup worked just like a charm. And now he's at a +11. And yellow's only chance is the city and the field. Problem being that they need to take the city over here and hope for blue to get the crossroads, because with everything else, blue would kill the city. And if they add this one, blue would kill the city with all tiles. So yeah, this one, and then hoping to draw the dagger to claim the field. But in this case, with 2 meeples in hand, blue would claim the field likely here or on the right side, just to prevent this move, which would score 13 points for yellow. Yeah, and this then is game over for texe. What a good go for this connection, scoring 9 points with any curvy. He prefers to take 5 points in a rather immediate fashion. Four at the bottom, yellow will take 3 somewhere. Yeah, in the end, this one. This might have reduced yellow's chances quite significantly, even if it was a 5-point move back then. But giving the second meeple back to blue, definitely not ideal. I really can't point to anything else earlier. Would need to check out the replay again, but yeah, I mean, not going for a monastery here. But crucial in the end was this move. So let's take a look at that situation again. Although before that, let's take a look again at the situation of game 2. Nicolas would have liked blue to go for the city with the vanilla. Yeah, so blue is down 17. Could get a meeple back here, although there are easy restrictions to only 2 tiles and 1 you need up top. So effectively, that's a 50-50. So it's not that easy, or not that likely, rather, to get this meeple back. Sure, they still have the horse threat. Getting both horses here basically would take care of the deficit on the scoreboard. So I'm still over here. I'd still take all the tiles to get this meeple back over immediately going for the city, because this way, one, there are so many restriction tiles available for yellow, and all other tiles would restrict or attack this city. So stuff like this here would be used to attack. This one would restrict the city severely. And even if blue were to get a Dorito here, well, then this square could be restricted to a 50-50. So the prospects of this city here just aren't that great, and definitely not great enough for me to go for the 50-50 flip here. So then let's go to the game 3. Hey, Chris. No, Nikolai, it's not hard to block that city. Not at all. They're just, I think there was 1 field Dorito out there, 1 cow. So that restriction works. And even if you can't execute that, well, then you have the restrictions at the bottom to the dagger or other city plus road tiles. So I don't think it was really hard to restrict it or to attack it, for that matter. So I'm still with trying to liberate the monastery there. So what did Chris say? I didn't like yellow's other farmer with the crossroads. I've taken 2 points and threatened blue's loop road and city cap combo. Yep, sounds like a good idea. So let's check these out. Sportr places a meeple. Yeah, absolutely no need at all to take this 6-point field if your opponent only has the 1 meeple in hand. Just wait for them to get the second meeple and then drop a farmer. Although, with this situation and 4 curves still to go, waiting could result in a 12-point flip. So having a 6-point field, or your opponent having it, at least I do understand it. On the other hand, taking these points, forcing blue to defend here and restrict this 5-point move to a 50-50 shot, maybe with some options of indirect defense, definitely would have been a commandable effort. Hey, Ricardo, congratulations. So yeah, then later this situation, unless there's anything in between, where are we? We are at 109, so it's not even a lot of moves to go. Yeah, so here we are. Yellow at -7 goes for this 6-point field, 2 points for the city, but 3, oh damn it, yeah, and 3 to yellow's field as well, which I totally neglected. So it's not, as I've said earlier, a 5-point move, but an 8-point move. Where's my head at today? Does this change what I said earlier, though? I don't think so. I'd still be very hesitant to execute that move. But what else is there? Trying to go for this city completion when there are only a select few tiles to complete it anyway, and you need to hit both these caps. I mean, this doesn't even improve the chances to close the city. Waiting for 2 caps might be better. Connecting over here could have been considered at least. That's a 2-point move, and well, both would get a meeple back. Setting up 2 6-point fields doesn't matter that much. Pressuring blue square, at least securing this connection if one of their magic tiles hits. I don't know. I just know I'm not the biggest fan of this one. Even if it temporarily equalizes the score. Might just be a case of hoping to outdraw your opponent. So first of all, get both of these caps. Yeah, but this didn't went that way. So after Blue's Monastery on the right, these 2 moves are a net +1 exchange for yellow. So from -7 to now -6. Yeah. That's the problem with having no great alternatives. So it might very well have been the best move after all. Just consider a curve here, and then yellow getting the road monastery, or them getting these caps. But I'm just not convinced enough that this here really changes the win probability in yellow's favor. So let's take a look at the standings just to confirm what we've already know. Sportr moved into 3rd place, was able to overtake Michael, and Michael's opponents all have played their 5 games, whereas Sportr could still gain an opponent's match win. He definitely will gain another opponent match win because in the match, UI Scooty versus yours truly, there very likely will be at least one winner. And the others are done, right? Saihan is done, CT is done, And texe, of course, is done as well. Yeah, so Sportr could still get to 10 match wins here, but the game's difference won't change. And therefore, he will stay behind a key stack unless the calculation of these would change, which I, at this point in time, doubt. And then there is still Y-Guru, who could get to second place, or maybe third place. No, second place. He has 2 games lost. So with the win, Y-Guru would definitely leapfrog Sportr and maybe leapfrog Aki stack. And that's all there is in terms of the top 4 spots. So Sportr, as noticed earlier, secures a ticket to the round of 16 with this match win today. Stop it. Texe sits in 12th place for now. But any win for Phosphate or Weaves, and as these two are playing against each other, would relegate Texe to the 13th place. And there's no help coming from former opponents, and therefore Krish has secured a playoff ticket as well, as Tompa won't be able to catch up with him. Alexi could still qualify if Hotly loses. I think even with a 1-2, although I'm not sure about the secondary tiebreaker, so let's check. Yeah. Cetos has played Lapatori, still has a match left. Horse still has a match left. So these two would need to lose. On the other hand, Pose also has a match left. Yeah, so this is possible, but for Alexi to stay in 12th place, neither MTU nor Basiliuk, Fox or Horsia is allowed to win 2-0 because all these 4 would leapfrog Alexi with a 2-0, having a better games won versus lost difference. And for MTU, even a 2-1 would be enough to get ahead, as he has, in that case, would have a 2-6 games won versus lost. So yeah, for Alexi, this means keeping the fingers crossed for a clean sweep by Pakshi versus Hotly in roughly 20 minutes. And for me, there's a break now. I'll see you later. Hopefully, maybe if you're checking out Pakshi Hotly, then in a, I don't know, restream or check in later, whatever works for you. I'd just start this stream here later at 2.5 or something and catch up. And by the time Helge and Basiliuk would be done with their first or second game, you should be live. But that's just me. So thanks for tuning in. I see you around. Bye.